Are you a good mom? Are you overwhelmed by motherhood and barely keeping your head above water? Are you confused and frustrated by how all the other moms make it look so easy? You can't figure out how to manage the chaos in your mind, your home, or your family. I get you, mama. Parenting with ADHD is hard. Here is your permission slip to let go of the Pinterest-worthy visions of organization and structure fit for everyone else. Let's do life like our brains do life, creatively, lovingly, and with all our might. When we embrace who we are and how our brains work, we can figure out how to live our lives successfully and, in turn, lead our families well. At the end of the day, we just want to be good moms. But, spoiler alert, you are already a great mom. ADHD does not mean you're doomed to be a hot mess, mama. You can rewrite your story from shame spiral to success story. And I'll be right here beside you to cheer you on. Welcome to Motherhood and ADHD. Hey there, Successful Mama. It's your friend Patricia Sung. Are you a good mom? Isn't that what we're all trying to shoot for? Like, we're just trying to be a good mom. Knowing like what I do matters, and hopefully in the process I haven't utterly lost myself. I can still have a piece of me, but yet we're all just trying to be good moms. And I was having this conversation with a mom who is older and wiser and more experienced than I am. And she said she read in a book a few years back that any choice you make for your family, for your kids, is a good choice as long as you have thoughtfully considered it. And then you explain to your kids that you have thoughtfully considered it, that you are trying, that you're doing your best, and that you're putting in effort. And honestly, I really needed to hear that because this summer was really hard. I was juggling all the things. If you listened to the last episode, just so much stuff going on, and realizing how am I going to keep up with all the things that are important to me? Because even with all of my strategies of prioritizing and creating schedules and having rhythms and routines, this was still a really hard summer. And I think that, as much as I love all these strategies and structure, I know that they were way more effective because I was in a good headspace. I was able to stay present, and I was able to stay calm and make good choices because I was in a good headspace. And the more I do what I do, the more I see this theme of are we in a good headspace? Are we able to be present? Are we able to think through and make this thoughtful consideration kind of decision? Then those are the times where we're able to be successful. I just got finished the Q&A day in Successful Mama Meetups where moms can ask, whatever's on their mind, course-related questions, just random ADHD questions. And, depending on how many questions there are and how detailed they are, you can usually get through a few. And this week I was able to get through 4 of them. Here's the 4 questions that we ran through. It was 1, how to talk to an 8-year-old child and give instructions when they are yelling or interrupting or just repeating the phrase over and over again. Instead of really listening to what you're saying, they're just talking at you. The second mom was struggling with how to help her 7-year-old who is highly anxious, how to work through that fear, how to still be okay even though things are hard. The third question was about how to untangle physical pain. How do we show up for our families when physically we aren't at 100% and we're struggling with our health or whatever, chronic illness or permanent problem exists that's not going away anytime soon. How do we still show up for our families? And the fourth question I answered was about how to get a homeschool routine in place when it's really outside of the norm of what's been going on. And as I'm answering all these, I realize all of these moms are good moms. They have done the research. They've read all the books. They're here listening to the podcast. They're making the chore charts. They're doing all the things. And things are still hard. And all of my answers were turning back to the emotional regulation side. Because yes, I do have lots of ideas. I probably have some ideas you haven't thought of yet just based on experience and how many people I've worked with ADHD and what they've shared with me and all the, tools and tips and everything that I've gathered from my communities. But more important to me is not that we have more strategies, but are we in a place where we can make them happen? And as I was jotting down my notes this morning about what I was going to chat about with you today, this song popped into my head. You want thingamabobs? I've got 20. Because each of these moms has tried at least 20 different things to make it work. But then Ariel goes on to be like, but who cares? No big deal. I want more. I want to be where the people are. I want to see them dancing, walking around on those, what do you call them? Oh, feet. Flipping your fins, you don't get too far. Legs are required for jumping, dancing, strolling along down that, what's that word again? Oh, street. So even though Ariel has all the things, the doodads, the thingamabobs, the dinglehoppers, what she wanted was the connection. She wanted the joy. She wanted the gift of presence. She wanted to be present. And I think that's what we're looking for as moms. When we're in the thick of it, like what we want most is joy. How do we stay joyful and present in the moment when things are really hard? There's never a point where things are just super easy. Like, oh wow, my life is so great. Like how often does that happen in life? Not that often. We're usually dealing with something. And all of these moms are asking me like, how do we solve this problem? How do we get through this hurdle? How do we overcome this obstacle? Because why? They want the joy again. They want their kid to be happy. They want to be able to have communication and like closeness with their kid again. They want to be able to show up and be present for their family even when their body's not cooperating. They want to show up and teach their kid and create an environment that works well for them where they can actually enjoy the day with their kid and teach them stuff. Like, how do we gain that joy again? And as I think back to like having been so sick the last few years, my rock bottom point was when I realized how much joy I did not have, how much joy was missing. I was in a small group for my church. Like the lesson was about joy. And the question was like, what was the last like really joyful moment you had? And I literally couldn't think of one in the past like 6 months, a year before that, like no joy. And that was the breaking point to be like, I can't do this anymore. I have to do something different. I can't stay here. This is no longer tenable. I can't do this anymore. And while I have done tons of things to get my joy and my health back, like I've been in therapy for a while. Like I'm still in therapy. Like I did umpteen treatments and tests and what else, supplements and doctor's appointments and physical therapy, like all the things. I tried all the things. And if I were to go back and look at that whole list of like, what's made the biggest difference? It's my emotional regulation skills. Number one, hands down. Understanding that, when you lose it with your family and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't understand what happened. Everything was fine. I went from 0 to 100. It was a disaster. And then exploded, knowing that you didn't go from 0 to 100. You were already at 99 and you didn't know. And that one point tipped you over. So the fact that I now know how my nervous system works and that you can understand how your body functions so you can work with it. Like, side note, I have a workshop coming up in September about energy regulation. Keep an eye on that. I'm super excited about it. But like, understanding how your body works, what you need, the patterns you have, all of that, understanding me is what made the most difference. Having those emotional regulation skills to be able to get out of being in this like fawn freeze mode, being able to dig myself up to get up to fight or flight, and then claw my way out of the hole to get up to like a normal place and be able to create calm in my life. Despite everything else going on, all the things that I can't control, having this skill set to recognize how I can listen to my body so that I know when I'm getting towards the brink. I understand that I'm getting close to 99 and it's going to explode soon. But then also how to back off before I crash over that edge. How do I calm down when I'm losing it? How do I stop these racing illogical thoughts that take over? How do I stay present with myself in the moment without shutting down or shutting other people out all the time? Like, yes, sometimes that shutting down and shutting out is very important. That's why it's built into our body. But I didn't want it to be my default mode anymore. Now I know how to take care of myself and be present in the moment to have calm and peace even when life is not calm and peaceful because I can create it. And like, I'm not perfect. I'd say, I'm still got like 80-20. 20% of the time, still hard. But 80% of the time, I'm good. I want this for you too. I want you to be able to know in the emotional regulation skills of what creates calm for you. What do you need to feel safe, to feel peaceful, to create that calm in your environment? What are the things that you need? Secondly, how do you recognize when things are escalating and you are exiting that area of calm? Having that awareness to know what are the things that are going to bother you and knowing that it's happening is a huge part of emotional regulation, being able to recognize it. And so many of us with ADHD cannot recognize it. We don't even recognize basic cues of hunger and thirst. And we talked about that a few episodes ago. I'll put it in the show notes. Being able to recognize the tiniest cues, basic human functions. Oh, wait, I have to go to the bathroom. It's an emergency because I didn't notice an hour ago when I started to have to go to the bathroom, or I ignored it. Being able to recognize the clues along the way and having awareness of when things are starting to go south. And then the third part is that when things are going, off the rails, how do we regain control in that moment? How do we pull it together so that we don't fall off the edge of the cliff? I've got a free video resource. I'll put it in the show notes, 10 ways to hold it together when you're feeling overwhelmed. Because I want you to be able to have these skills to be able to take care of yourself.
Mama, are you ready to get away? You are cordially invited to this year's annual retreat. Our Successful as a Mother luxury weekend getaway retreat conference amazingness that is happening this October. This is a chance for you to get away and take a break and truly rest. For you to learn about your brain in a way that makes sense for you. And most importantly, know that you are not alone and have a real-life community of moms who get you. We are staying at a beautiful 4-star hotel. This is an all-inclusive event, which means I will handle everything for you once you arrive. I take care of your hotel. I take care of your meals that you neither cooked nor cleaned up, nor cut anybody else's food up, that you truly get to have a weekend where you take care of you. Because you deserve rest. You deserve to be taken care of. And I'm going to do that for you at this retreat. So I invite you to go ahead and grab your ticket at patriciasung.com/ADHD-mom-retreat. Again, that's patriciasung.com/ADHD-mom-retreat. Grab your ticket and let's hang out in person. I cannot wait to meet you.
So to have these things, to have these skills in place, is to me the secret sauce of making all the strategies work. Yes, you can get a lot done with strategies. I teach them all the time. And knowing that when I have my emotional regulation skills in place, that makes everything else easier. It makes everything else function better. Not perfectly, but better. It makes everything easier because I'm present. I'm calm. I can make logical choices. My brain is online because I'm in a place where I can. Because when we're in fight or flight or we're in freeze or fawn, we don't have capacity to make good decisions. We don't have capacity for using our creative problem-solving skills. We don't have capacity to connect and build relationships because we're just trying to survive. And we don't have to live like that. We don't have to stay in this place of barely getting by, barely surviving. We can be in a place of thriving with ADHD, no matter what the storm is that you're dealing with. So how can we make this happen? 1, if you're listening to this in real time, today is the last day to sign up for the retreat next month. Now, if you're listening to this afterwards, go to the website, put your name on the wait list so that you can be at the next one. But on this retreat in October, we are spending Saturday morning diving into how do you create calm in the midst of the chaos. I know that there's never a great time to leave your family. There's always stuff going on. As moms, we're always juggling things. But you've got to put yourself on the priority list somewhere, and it may as well be now. Let me take care of you for the weekend. Come hang out. I will take care of you. You get to rest for this weekend. And I'm going to teach you how to do these things. It's a whirlwind intensive. I'm going to download as many skills as I can in that morning. But also the rest of the weekend's built around rest. Taking care of you. Creating space for you to breathe and not be in charge of all the things. And let your guard down and be just in the moment, taking care of just you. And I'm doing most of the work. You get to just rest.
Mama, I want you to be here with me and the other 8 moms who are taking time to learn about ourselves, to help set ourselves up for success, and to take time to rest and take care of yourself.
If you want more details on the retreat, you can listen to last week's episode. So head over to patriciasung.com/ADHD-mom-retreat and sign up. Today's the last day. or put yourself on the wait list if you're listening to this later. Put yourself on the priority list. The second way that I can help you with this is through group coaching. In Lighthouse group coaching, this is where we're layering together both the strategy and the emotional regulation skills to bring calm into your life. So whereas the retreat is like an immersive 1 weekend, get as much as you can in a short amount of time, this is like full 3 months together. So we're looking at like, how do you create structure that fits you in your life, creating flexible systems to run your family life, like routines you actually like. If you want to call them rhythms because it sounds better, call them rhythms. But these are things you actually want to do because they're helping you and they're built to fit your ADHD and to keep up with all the things that moms have to keep up with. So we're pairing it with my course about time management mastery and figuring out like, what are the systems that your family needs to stay on track. And the reason we can implement all these strategies is because we're working on emotional regulation. As we work together, like, you know what creates calm for you. You know how to recognize when things are escalating. You have that awareness, and then you are able to then regain the calm in the moment, and you have those skills so that you can see like when your kid is not listening at all and like just repeating, yelling, something back at you instead of doing the thing you asked them. You can see that as like, wow, this communication they are delivering to me is showing me that they're very dysregulated and they are not able to receive my communication at this point. So what can I do to then help my kid get to a place where they're regulated enough where they can actually hear the words that are coming out of my mouth and they're not looking at me like I'm trying to draw a fight, because they're definitely in fight mode at that point. They're fully in fight or flight and they can't receive the information I'm giving. So how do I help them get to a place where they are regulated again so that they can receive that information? So as you learn all these things, you can then turn around and teach them to your kids. How do they build structures that fit their ADHD brains or their neurotypical brains? How do they build their emotional regulation skills so that they know what is calming for them? They know that like they can recognize when things are escalating and have that awareness. And they know how to regain calm for themselves in the moment. So the next round of this group coaching is actually happening in about 2 weeks. So now is the time to sign up. You're going to go to patriciasung.com/lighthouse, all one word, and sign up. There's a couple of spots left in the next group, and I want you to have these skills for you and your family. Hey, and if it turns out that group coaching or the retreat aren't in the cards for right now, cool. Come hang out in Successful Mama meetups. Show up, get stuff done, build your community. We have monthly themes and we talk about this kind of stuff. September's theme is all about energy regulation. And of course, you can always download my free resources like the How to Stay Calm When You're Losing It video. It's in the show notes. Like, the main point is like, don't stay stuck. Do something. Like, that's what makes you a good mom. Like, you're trying, you're thinking about stuff, you're contemplating things, you are doing your best, and you keep going. By the fact that you're here listening tells me you haven't given up completely yet. Like, you are trying. Even when you feel like you're not doing enough, you're doing something. And some days that's all we can ask of ourselves. And other days we have more to give, but the point is you keep going. That's what makes you a good mom. So, I am here to support you wherever you are in your journey. And if you're ready to come hang out and enjoy an amazing weekend retreat with me, go sign up on the website right now, patriciasung.com/ADHD-mom-retreat. And if you're ready for really digging in and making a difference, sign up for group coaching. It's patriciasung.com/lighthouse. Come join the community in Successful Mama meetups. Like, make this happen. Do something to take care of yourself because you are a good mom. Successful Mama, because you're doing as much as you can with what you got. I'll talk to you soon, Successful Mama.
For more resources, classes, and community, head over to my website, motherhoodinadhd.com.